Global warming is a myth, and anyone needing evidence to the contrary wouldn't have to look very far. There's tons of evidence. The evidence is so overwhelming, there can be no doubt that the Earth is warming up at an alarming rate. Now, I know you may be asking yourself right now, what type of evidence? Well, first, we'll start with the ice sheets. They're melting. And there's ice sheets in Greenland and in Antarctica, huge masses of ice. And the scientific journal Nature Geoscience reported in their current edition that satellite data taken over the Antarctic ice sheets show a 4,000 gigaton shrinkage of ice since 1994. Now, when you want to put that into perspective, a gigaton is 1 billion tons. NASA reported almost the same information in their gravity recovery and climate experiment. In Greenland, they show an average loss of 279 billion tons of ice per year from the years 1993 to 2019. In Antarctica, it shows on average 148 billion tons of ice lost during that time. When you think about it, that is a really big decrease of ice. And when you have that much ice melting, it causes global sea levels to rise from all the water being emptied into the oceans. That increases the chance of catastrophic flooding into mainland areas. And not only is the sea level rising, you also have the sea itself warming up. There are reports from NASA where the temperature readings that they've taken of the top 100 meters of ocean, it'll show a warming increase of more than 6.6 degrees Fahrenheit since 1969. This is because the overall temperature of the Earth has increased over a period of time. And with those rising temperatures, it also increases the air temperature over the oceans. Now, when you have the air temperature rising over water, that contributes to the increase in the number of hurricanes and the increase in the strength of hurricanes that we see per year. Now, this graph shows our CO2 emissions from 1960 to 2010. That's the dark line rising up. You'll also see the faint squiggly line that also rises. That's our global temperature during that time, also rising, which shows that there is a relationship between the rise in the CO2 emissions and the overall rise in the global temperature. Now, the planet's average surface temperature has risen more than 2 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 19th century. This is because of the increased CO2 emissions and other human-made emissions into our atmosphere. NASA reports most of the warming occurred within the last 40 years, and that coincides with the carbon dioxide, with our 6 warmest years on record actually having taken place since 2014. 2016 was our warmest year on record, and that year, the months of January through September were actually the warmest ever recorded for those months. Now, despite these studies and countless others that have been conducted, there are those who still believe global warming does not exist. Now, there are actual scientists who doubt its existence, 17,000 actually. Capitalism magazine, in one of their articles, it reported that 17,000 scientists signed a petition confirming their belief that the carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere by humans, it's not enough, they're saying, to support a so-called greenhouse effect here on Earth. Now, that's 17,000 members of the scientific community actually stating they do not believe that global warming exists. But despite these naysayers, it is real. In the last 150 years, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it's increased by 50% due to burning fossil fuels. And there's more energy being trapped in the atmosphere because there's more carbon dioxide there to trap it. When you look at that cycle, that's really all the proof you need that global warming does exist. There's a rise in carbon dioxide emissions. That's already been proven. So it would scientifically follow that the Earth's temperature will continue to rise as long as carbon dioxide emissions created by humans also rise. Thank you.